Hello, welcome back to another episode of Trojan Talks. This is your host, Troy Sutton. This is the third episode, and we already have a guest on. So we have Reece Hallard today. Do you want to introduce yourself really quickly?
Yeah, well, Troy, firstly, thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to delving into some good stuff. So my name's Reece Hallard, also a coach, just like Troy. And I'm going to try and keep my elevator pitch short because I can always waffle on. But long story short, was always a skinny kid growing up, had spaghetti noodle arms hanging out my t-shirts, and I wanted to be a pro footballer. But I'd go on trial at clubs. They say you're good, you got great IQ, but you get bullied off the ball and you're not strong enough. So that's where my gym journey started 9 years ago now.
Wow, and that's actually similar to me. Like we by the way previously just filmed the podcast, which is more so about like my story. So I'll also leave a link to that in the description so people can watch that. It's kind of a similar backstory to me, except you're better at football.
Yeah, well, we haven't tested it out yet. Maybe next time I come out to Dubai, we'll test it out, play a game of two
Maybe.
touch.
Maybe, but yeah, I think that's like a similar story to me. It's like I didn't necessarily be told like you're too like you get bullied off the ball, you're too skinny for football, but I kind of felt that myself. Do you know when you can like feel it in yourself where you're just like you're fucking weak,
Yeah.
and there's nothing worse when like you know that you're just not how you want to be, and that's why a lot of people get started. But tell me about your whole football journey. Like, when did that start, and like when did it kind of end?
Oh, dude. I mean, it's still going now. I still play.
Mm,
It's an all right standard, but I play for fun. I'm sure it's the same with yourself. I know we had this conversation actually when I was in Dubai last week. It's like
yeah,
it's important to have something to escape, like a bit of downtime, a bit of hobbies, outside of business, and I suppose outside of fitness, still fitness, but it's
right.
just my time away with the boys and just to joke in the changing room and just to have a good time. But it started from as young as I can remember. I had a ball at my feet when I was 2, 3, 4 years old. My dad got me into it originally. My little brother plays professional. The fucker. He's back and said, bless him. But yeah, we just used to train every hour of every day and just out on our field together, just playing football down at the local courts. And I would probably say not the passion went off, but I would say the passion got replaced. I was
Right.
trying to chase it all the way up to 17 years old. And this is when I started PTing because for me, I thought, I said, got into the gym to help with my football. I gained some size. First time I've ever felt confident. And the word I used was I felt powerful. I felt like I had presence. I felt like I couldn't be picked on. I felt good in myself. And, for me, that was the next logical step was, okay, let me help other people do it. But my goal on the side, I still wanted to be a pro footballer. But my first transformation, her name was Sophie Williams, if she's listening. My first transformation where she goes, Reece, you changed my life. I had goosebumps. Like I couldn't tell you.
Mm,
And the butterflies I would get scoring a last minute goal, I never thought I could replace until I
yeah.
received a message from Sophie and a couple of photos to show how different she looked and how much she said her life has changed. I was like, there's no feeling I've ever had like this on the football pitch. This is where I'm meant to be. This is my life now. PT is my calling, and coaching is my calling. So that's when football passion was replaced. I still play for fun, but it was
Mm.
replaced with my new passion, which was coaching.
And when did you start online coaching?
Oh God. I started online in COVID. Before that, for 5 years, I was an in-person PT. So
Mm,
just on the gym floor in 10, 12 hours a day, helping people out. But I always thought, I want to do online, but I just ain't got the time. And I went into, COVID, and when everyone's results got a million times better because it was forced to be online, I thought, right, if I truly am in this for the right reasons, which is to change lives, I need to bite the bullet and do this whole thing online because it's how people are going to transform. So yeah, what was that, 4 years ago now since COVID? Four or so years ago.
time has flown, huh?
Oh, gee, I feel like it's yesterday.
Yeah, I know. It's similar to me, to be fair, because I was kind of forced online because I only had three clients at the time. At the time I was balling though. I was like, I love this.
Yeah. It was,
It's good though because it shows that a true passion for the industry. The fact that you were working 12 hours a
absolutely.
day, you love the fact that I had three clients, I thought I was living it. But anyway,
Yeah.
I was forced online because the gym kind of closed down, and there was a lot of regulations in place that I couldn't continue, making an income and feeding myself. So
Yeah.
we pushed online, and it was like at that point where we had the three clients online, I was like, shit, this is possible. I was like, I
Wait,
remember saying to my
playing on a
clients, I was like,
laptop?
yeah, I was like, we're just gonna do it online, and they were like, is that possible? And I remember replying to them, and I was like, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not
We'll
sure,
find
but
out.
it's better than nothing, right? So we started, and then we were like, this is actually like a really big success. It was like, you're telling me that I can pay more closer attention to their nutrition. We can really dial in terms of their overall daily habits and what happens outside the gym the other 23 hours. And not to sound like a money greedy bastard, because I know it's going to sound like that. It's like after PT hours, we weren't paid. So therefore, the communication with the client wasn't really there, right? Because we were
Mm.
paid solely for the hour to like push them and motivate them. And once that was done, our
Yeah,
job was
yeah.
complete. So that's when I actually opened up my eyes. I was like, shit, a transformation isn't actually in the gym. It's more so what you do out of the gym. Would you agree?
Oh, dude, without a shout. And we just spoke about this as well. And I still remember my PT days. I tried everything outside the gym to try and support them, but I just physically didn't have the systems in place to do it. Like I wanted to support more of their nutrition, but I couldn't really see what they were doing. I didn't know what's put in place. Or I wanted to
Yeah.
support more of their sleep, but I didn't really know how to put an evening time routine and track it because I was so busy. Like I was always on the gym floor. I ain't got time to do all that extra stuff.
Yeah.
So we just spoke about as well. 5% of fat loss results comes from gym training.
Mm.
95% comes from outside the gym with metabolism, hormones, activity, ferment effective food with digestion. That's
Yeah.
where the transformation comes from. So taking it online and putting systems in place to be able to show said client that comes on board, oh, you struggle with sleep? Here's a full sleep routine to help you get an extra 2 hours of high quality deep sleep a night. Oh, you
Yeah.
struggle with nutrition? Great. Here's a tailor meal plan built around your busy career and lifestyle that I know you're going to enjoy because you said you love these foods and they're right on in there. Oh, you need it changed? Cool. Give me 2 minutes. I'll change it. In PT, if someone needed something changed, yeah, hopefully get back to it in 2027 on a Friday because I'm fucking back to back with PT. Like it's the online world just blew my mind on how much more we can support people
Yeah.
than you can in PT.
I think it was funny though, because I remember going back to I think I actually have it because I had the same laptop at the time just after COVID. I made my first ever like meal program. It was like one of those like really shitty PDF ones. I was like, I looked back at it. I think it was like probably a couple of months ago. I was like, holy fuck. I was like,
Oh, dude.
first of all, I would have fired me. Second of all, I should not have been paid, right? But I suppose that's the best we could do because as in-person PTs, we're not up to date. We don't have time to research best systems for nutrition and stuff. But now that this is like our forte, it's like we make sure that we have the best systems in place, and it's actually mad how smoothly the internet runs.
Oh, dude, like we have the time to make sure everything is completely pristine and the results are maximized. But this will
Mm,
make you laugh. I still remember my first like set of online programs I launched. It
yeah,
was £20. It was just the one-off £20 for a program. And do you have time hop? I don't know if you got the same one, Alan, but
yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
time
yeah.
hop. I had a time hop screenshot come up and it was me lying in my bed. It was a picture of the laptop. You can just about see Peaky Blinders in the background. It was a picture of my laptop and it was a Word document and it just said set one, da, 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 set two, da, 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 set three, calories
Yeah.
at the bottom, Word document, save it as PDF, send over, bank transfer me £20. That was it. Did those
Mm,
people transform? Absolutely fucking not. 'Cause they didn't have
no.
everything else they needed or the accountability or the long term. But yeah, I had that come up on my time hop. And sometimes it's, one of those nice little reminders to go, maybe, we are on the right track because just like those listening, we get those times where you go, fucking, am I doing enough? Or am I far enough? Or do I need to do more? Sometimes those little reminders is important.
But see, you know what though? Like those £20 programs is like, although they didn't actually help them transform, it's mad how people think that one £20 program will completely change their life. And it's because they're stuck in the mindset of, they don't need accountability, right? Nobody needs to tell me to get up or nobody needs to help me improve my sleep because I just go to sleep earlier. And sometimes people need to understand it's actually not that easy to just, because if it was, well, why the fuck aren't you in shape, right? In all due respect. And
100%.
I think we need to be honest like that. And I think that's why a lot of my clients really do appreciate me is because I'm really spitefully honest, right? And I
100%.
mean, take
Yeah.
it as a good thing or take it as a bad thing. But I think a lot of people think that a £20 program, like just, set one, set two, set three, is like, this is going to help me, get girls, this is going to help me improve my sex drive and stuff. No brainer, £20.
Uh-uh.
There you go.
I mean, the
Yeah.
funny thing on that is, and I know you're exactly the same, we give all that shit away for free now. I
Yeah,
give away
literally.
sleep
Yeah.
optimization guides. I give away full training programs. I give away my very own nutrition programs. I give away nutrition courses teaching you how to do the whole thing. And it's all free,
Mm,
but it's not necessarily like it's a good foundation to build for education. But I think the value in a coach, let me rephrase the value in a good coach like yourself and myself, I'd like to
mm,
think, is not the plans that we can provide. It's the experience and course correcting and accountability along the way. It's us knowing and understanding your personality because we've got the experience of working with many people just like you to go, psychologically, I don't think you're going to work well with said nutrition plan. It could be best for you, but I don't think long term you're going to actually work with it. So because of that, I'm going to change it to this. I'm going to add this, right? So like,
mm.
how to psychologically get this person to adhere. You know how to communicate with said person. You know how to course correct when they hit a plateau. That's the value in coaching. It's not, here's a training plan. You can have that shit. You can go on ChatGPT, AI can write that shit, but it doesn't get
Yeah.
results.
That actually brings me on to my next point. It's like I had two things said to me think it was last week, because basically we didn't have a system where we could give away free books and stuff like that without my Instagram completely breaking. Right. So a quick story is like I launched a free fat loss webinar, right?
Yeah.
And we posted one story and we had 13,000 people want it
Jesus
just with
Christ.
one story post, right? And it
Jesus.
completely fucked my Instagram. My Instagram just wouldn't load. Joe, when people send keywords, and then obviously, of course, we have people that are able to send the guides to them and stuff like that, because well, nobody expects us to reply to 13,000 people, right?
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
and I remember just sitting there, and my Instagram box was like halfway on the DM side when I tried to swipe. It was halfway on the DM side, halfway on the story slide, and like I could scroll on the left side of like my posts, and I could scroll on the right with my DMs. It was like it was fucked, right, for like a
That's
week.
brilliant.
So I said to myself, I'm never doing that again. But anyway, we found a way that we were able to get around it. And we done it the other day. I think we gave away an 8 hour sleep guide, right? And somebody came to me and was like, why are you giving all this away for free? Like, I've seen you give away workout programs, free nutrition programs, and free supplement guides and stuff like that. Why do you give that away for free? And I was like, because in reality, it's not going to fucking help you. I'm just, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. But the thing
Because,
is that on that, the hope is that it does. Because
mm,
for some people, I would say for 15, maybe 20% of people, it will. It will
yeah,
for 15,
mm,
20% of the people, because they can either have accountability from a spouse or partner that's really on them, really, really on them,
yeah,
or they just have extreme drive themselves. So like it does still work. And that's why we pull it out. And my mindset always with it is, because I got asked a similar question. It's like, my hope is that this free guide helps you transform. And at some point, you're going to go, fucking hell, these results have been so, and this is just full honesty and transparency. You're going to go at
mm.
some point, these results has been so good from this free shit.
Imagine
Maybe
what
I
the
want
pay
to take it
this.
to the next level with his paid program. So full
Mm.
transparency, I do it because I want to help you down the line. But that doesn't happen and I don't help you down the line, you got a load of free shit to walk away with and transform it. So it's a win-win, right?
I would say, yeah, no, definitely. I would say education is great because it can fall down the line of some people going, well, eventually, I would always say always be the student in a room, right? Because that's how you learn more and that's how you get better. But majority of the people that are downloading these guides, right, they start to achieve this mindset where it's like, right, I've got a sleep optimization guide where I don't need fucking help. I don't need tips no more. It's like I've got this guide. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
what I see spikes a lot within the people that I chat to on Instagram on a daily basis is like when they download this guide, they feel unbreakable. And I love the motivation it gives them, and I love the mindset it gives them. But
Love it too.
sometimes it can be very negative affected towards their journey because they feel like they know it all now, right? And I see so many people just being like, I know everything about the gym and I know everything I need, except why does that not correlate to your body, right? And I'm
Yeah,
not saying it in a
absolutely.
spiteful way. I'm more so saying is like it's not about the plan you have, it's about how you implement the plan. And I think
Absolutely.
that's why accountability comes like huge. And I think I mean, I would love to relate people that don't need to pay for a coach and you have the spouse that's fucking on them, because I know for a fact me and my partner would boredom me all day, right? So
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah, mine
yeah,
too. Yeah.
that's what I need a coach is like, because I know for a fact I'm not getting accountability off anybody else, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the occasional time where I get a message off Reece being like hitting gym, that's different, right? But nobody's checking in on me, making sure I complete my diet, So I think
100%.
that's why a lot of people I think a lot of people are shocked when they hear me and you have coaches, and they're like, why would you need a coach
Oh,
when you have a
absolutely.
coach?
I've had a coach, or I've been a productive coach and had coaching since I was 18. And
Mm,
I've always said publicly, I will never not have a coach. And it's not because I need information or I don't know what to do. It's because having someone in your corner that holds you to a higher standard than you hold yourself is so valuable. Like, we're human beings. We like to eat food. We like to have a drink. Like, every now and again, we like to do things that aren't necessarily quote unquote perfect. So just having someone in your corner going, yeah, that could be better. Yeah, I know. Or going to the gym, sometimes feel knackered. Sometimes I've had a long day. So I go and put my best in, and someone goes, you could have probably pushed an extra 10%. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to do it on the next session. Or even just me in the gym knowing, coach, you're going to kick my ass if I don't get 2 more reps in it. Fuck it. And then just going, right, that gives me that extra push. If it was
yeah.
myself, I could allow myself to get a little bit complacent. And people do think, oh, you're a coach, you should be able to just find that in yourself. And yeah, we're coaches, but we're human too. Like, this happens, right? It's normal.
That's why I was recording a check-in the other day. It was for my client Clint, right? He uploaded his check-in on Monday and he was just basically saying how he had like a really fun weekend. He had some stuff going with the family. He brought his son out for I think it was his 16th birthday. He brought his son out on a cruise and stuff like that. And they were just having a fucking good time, right? And he uploaded his check-in and he basically said the word sorry in his check-in, right? And I remember recording the check-in video. I was like, dude, what the fuck are you saying sorry for? I was like, me and you were on the same level. I was like, I completely cheated on my diet this week, and I won't lie. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are shocked with how imperfect we are, but I think that's what makes us good coaches in reality. And I think it's because we're open to being imperfect, because you see a lot of coaches, like, and I know I keep mentioning his name, I mentioned him on yours as well, like Eddie Abu and all those people, right?
Mhm.
They're so obsessed with doing the most scientifically perfect thing, where I would say behind closed doors, they're probably the worst for it, right? And it's insecurity.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's where our clients respect us a lot more than maybe ex coach that wouldn't.
Of course. And I know we spoke about it a moment ago as well, but something I always relay back. And when you look at people like, let's say the example you just used of Eddie Abu, right? There's
Mm,
things that are good in theory and there's things that are good in practice, right? In
yeah.
theory, if you can eat the perfect foods every single time that just come out the ground and your health is optimal and you cook 15 hours a day, brilliant. Let's go, right?
Mm,
When you get 3 weeks in, you go, I can't fucking do this anymore. Right. Realistically, is that like being perfectly being occasionally good is better than being always perfect, right? So like I would rather you have the odd takeaway, have the odd date night, or enjoy the odd treat, and you can stay consistent to the better part of your 90% part of your diet for 10 years, as opposed to being perfect for 3 weeks, going back to square one and yo-yo in and out. That's where good coaches can see the bigger picture. And other people who have never got experience coaching people generally one-to-one, like maybe Eddie, who's was a bodybuilder then a nurse, not had one-to-one fitness clients, to
mm,
realize maybe this isn't realistic for your average Joe who's got career, family, responsibilities, and also don't want to give up the will to live
yeah.
for shit things that they can make them give up after 3 weeks.
What would you say is, because there's a lot of diets out there right now, what would you say the worst diet you've ever seen being publicized on social media is?
Keto. Who the fuck
Yeah.
wants to cut out carbs? I love carbs. Keto, right off the bat. Don't need to think about it.
I agree with that one, to be fair, because I would say the sole reason, well, like, I think everybody has a bit of a have actually a quick question, right? You noodle arms to big arms, right? Was there ever a point in your journey wherever you kind of like let yourself go and kind of gained a bit of body fat at all?
Oh yeah, COVID was crazy for me. COVID was I've been on both ends of the spectrum.
Mm,
Prior to COVID, I was always way too skinny. I played loads of football. I was so freaking active, you wouldn't believe. So I never had a problem. My eating habits were so bad. I had a bad relationship with food, if I'm completely transparent. My eating
yeah,
habits were horrible. I'd have 5, 6 Kinder Buenos or Snickers a day. I'd have 5, 6 packets of cheese and onion baked crisps. It was really fucking bad. And that was at my lunch, right?
yeah,
But in COVID, my activity went down since no football. My diet habits stayed the same. So I ballooned. I had a pot belly. And most importantly, I felt horrible. My energy
mm,
was rock bottom. I felt like absolute crap. So then I was in the end where I was thinking, fuck, I need to diet. I need to sort myself out here. I'm meant to be the leader. I'm meant to walk the walk and lead from the front. What the fuck am I doing? Like, this isn't who I am or what I preach. So I actually flipped the script and went, I need to lose weight here. I need to get shredded. I need to walk the walk and show what I'm about. So that's when I actually was on the other end of the spectrum and dieted down. So to answer your question, yeah, I had to go down both ends of the spectrum.
yeah. I think I kind of went a bit off where I was actually going with that, but anyway, where I was about to basically say is carbohydrates. You know, they're the reason you got to a point where you are, right?
Yeah,
And that was
yeah,
the reason where I like Kinder fucking Buenos. Jeez, they are good, you know. And I mean carbohydrate city, but anyway, an interesting thing about being on the both side of the spectrum, I think, is very good because we can actually relate as well to people.
yeah.
And do you agree that growing up you were always skinny, right? Got to a point where you had some more tissue on your body, and then you got to a point where you consider yourself out of shape, right? Was that weird to be in a fat loss journey considering where you started?
Oh yeah, fucking well weird. I was thinking, diet, wait, not eat whenever I want, whatever. What are you talking about? Why do I want to do that? No, it was
Yeah.
the weirdest thing in the world, but it the results from a fat loss perspective were cool, but they weren't the wins for me. At the
Mm,
end of the day, when I realized how resilient I can be, how disciplined I can be, how much more self-respect I had, sticking to my word, and also just kind of getting to the end and going, do you know what? I feel so much more structured. To diet, you need structure. Otherwise, you're
yeah.
going to fucking run riot. So where I had much more structure and control, I felt so much more in control of myself and my day, which meant my business skyrocketed. My relationship with my partner went through the roof. We was arguing loads before. All of a sudden, I was happy and I was in control and I had self-responsibility and self-respect. So yeah, it was a weird journey dieting and the results were cool, but it's the knock-on effect it had to the rest of my life, which was really cool. How about yourself?
I think I'm the same with that. Is like I got to a point where I got, and this is something that I've been open with before. I got so bad mentally, where I was working a job that I didn't necessarily enjoy because, of course, you start as a gym instructor and you fucking love it, right? Because you think
Yeah.
you're getting on the gym floor. Now I don't know if you can relate to me. You done a PT one, right? I done
Yeah.
one where I was a
Yeah.
gym instructor, right? So I was basically a toilet cleaner
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
reality, right? And that's where I got to a point where I was working like 40 hours per week just toilet cleaning, right? And I was like, I'm a fucking janitor. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not a
Yeah.
gym instructor, right? And it got to a point where I just stopped putting in as much because I'm somebody that will put 110% in if I know that there's a career path for me, or
Mm.
even in fitness, I'll give 110% because I can see the end goal. But with that, I just got so fed up mentally, and which means that my productivity in the job actually went down, meaning I got my hours cut as a punishment, right? Because of course I wasn't performing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then I had to pick up a retail job, and I basically just got really badly depressed, right? And that lasted for like a 6 to 7 month period. And throughout that 6 to 7 months, I didn't go to the gym once, even though I trained in the gym. Could you
Yeah.
imagine? Like I
Yeah. Yeah. Of
trained in the
course.
gym and I never actually trained in it, right? And that's just showing that how important the mindset is to have in place, like while you're actually going forward into your journey. But yeah, so coming from that other end of the spectrum, was like I always wanted to gain weight and gain muscle. It's like when I got to that stage where I had to lose weight, I was like, what's going on?
What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like I was always a skinny kid and now I'm the fat kid. I was like, what is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it was interesting because being in both sides of the spectrum allowed me to understand what people go through a bit more. And I think
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for the world though, because that builds up character. And exactly the same thing you said is like people solely focus on abs or whether it be looking good on holiday, where
100%.
I fucking really achieved something with my own mind. And I was like, shit, so you're telling me that whatever I put my mind to, I'm gonna fucking conquer? Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely.
Um,
I can relate to that on a personal level as well, because I was exactly the same PT apprenticeship. Going to the gym, it's like glorified. Yeah, I'm a PT apprentice. Look at me. Walk around feeling the bollocks.
dog's
But
bollocks, yeah.
yeah, I was cleaning the toilets, taking legs, bums, and tums for £3.20 an hour. I remember getting my first promotion after a couple of months because the way I kind of saw it is that the owners of the gym were fucking smart people. And I
Mm,
was a leech on every bit of information they gave me. So I thought I'm going to be the best toilet cleaner just because I want to leech on their information. If I
gotcha,
didn't think they were good, I would have dusted the whole thing off. But they
yeah.
were smart. I mean, to get me motivated at £3.20 an hour, they got to be pretty smart. But
Mm,
so I was doing my job well, and then I got promotion to sales. I sell gym memberships, and then
nice.
I got to the point where I was like, I got into this thing to be a PT, but I'm coming to the gym in a suit. Like I've got to
Yeah.
sell gym memberships. Like I'm wearing a suit to the gym. I got into this. I love fitness and transforming lives. So that's when I left the gym and went to a new one because I wanted to get back to my roots of training. But I can relate to that from a personal level. It was a very interesting one to say the least.
Can you tell me what was your biggest struggle within your entire fitness journey, right? So obviously a lot of people struggle with being busy with their job. Well, we can relate
Mhm.
on our business as well. What would you say your biggest struggle was when trying to get into the shape that you are right now?
Self-belief, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I am. So when I was in my football journey, I had trials for professional football clubs so many times. I think I went on about 9 or 10 trials for pro clubs.
Hmm.
And every single time I'd usually get a 6 week trial, 2 week extension, and they would always come to me and go, "You're good, not quite good enough." Then the next time, go on a trial. "You're good. You're that close. We'll give you a 2 week extension." End of the 2 week extension. "You're good. Not quite good enough." So my whole life was, "You're good. You ain't good enough though." And that's how my mind was framed to, "Yeah, Reece, you're good, but you're not good enough." And that's
Hmm.
when I got into fitness. It was the first time where I had full control. And it's like my success in this field isn't based on a scout's opinion or a manager's opinion. So the first time I built self-belief was when I can get in shape because I had full control. And yeah, so my biggest struggle at first was self-belief, but I know you know Gavin McKell as well. I had him on my podcast about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And he said the best way to build self-belief is through evidence. So if you have a bank of evidence proving that you can do something you didn't think you can do, you'll build self-belief. So then I started to look at it and go, right, I said to myself, I'm going to get rid of my spaghetti noodle arms. I've got rid of them and I'll fill out a medium t-shirt, extra medium t-shirt. I can now, I can now go to the gym and feel confident. I can now do it. Okay, cool. I've got an evidence and I've got a locker room full of evidence that I can do what I put my mind to. So now I don't struggle as much with self-belief because I've proven I can do it now. So back then, my biggest struggle was self-belief for sure. What was yours?
My biggest struggle, I wouldn't say was self-belief because I grew up in a household where my mother and father would constantly tell me that I would achieve anything that I put my mind to, right? And I kind of saw that. Like I think when I was younger, I was never the manager's first choice because I just quite frankly knew I was never the best at football, right? I think that was just honest, right? And I never had that goal. I did for I think like every child, male at least, does like have a football at one stage.
Yeah.
Um, but I kind of fell out of that after 15. So I never really struggled with self belief. And it's interesting to see that you struggled that from a young age up to where you are right now.
Mhm.
For me, it was more so about knowing what to do and how to do it. So I was like, it was an education barrier, in my opinion, which is why, hiring coaches was number one of the most scariest thing I ever done, but number two, one of the most beneficial things. And that's why 5 years later, I've actually never, ever went back and I never would, regardless how much education I gained regardless if I was fucking, bodybuilder tomorrow, I still would
Yes.
never give it up.
Absolutely.
For anybody struggling with self-belief, they just feel like I see it a lot, right? A lot of people say, I really want to get abs, but that's not possible for me and my age. 35 years old, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, have your abs disappeared? Anyway, what would
Yeah.
you say is a piece of advice to, I know you said the whole bank of evidence and stuff, but is there anything you would add on additionally to that?
Yeah, I mean, for the first one, you can't find evidence in yourself, find it in someone else. Like the only way you won't be able to see abs at any age is if you're an alien and you're not really a fucking human, because unless you defy science, you can see abs. Like there's a fucking route to do it, right?
Yeah.
But the first thing I would do is like I would kind of go, okay, if I've got no evidence that I can achieve what I want to achieve, can I find someone similar to me who has? So can I go on to Reese's or Troy's page and find someone who's similar to me that never thought they could and now they have, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing, and the other thing's a harsh truth, is kind of coming, what's the other fucking alternative? So for me, it's like, I've got spaghetti noodle arms. I don't believe I can get big arms. What's the alternative? All right. Option A, I try and get big arms. Option B, I stay fucking skinny and do nothing about it. So the other one's a harsh truth. Like it's hard to get in shape. It's hard to get abs at 35. It's not easy. You need to optimize your metabolism, your hormones. You need to do extras than you might have done in your 20s. It's not easy, but it's also not easy staying fat. It's also not easy going to a social event and hiding in photos. It's also not easy trying on 15 t-shirts before you go out because you don't like the way you look in any of them. So which one is harder? Staying out of shape or just biting a bullet and going, I've got to give this thing a go. I don't know if I can do it or not, but I've got to try because the alternative is I stay exactly where I am. So the other flip side to it is what other option do you have? You either stay how you are or you give it your best fucking shot. That's sometimes a harsh reality I think people sometimes need to hear.
That's what you said is like choose your heart, right? I think that's a great thing to say. It's like choose your heart. Is your heart
Absolutely.
being out of shape or is your heart at least trying to get in shape, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, one thing that I preach a lot and something that I'm sure my clientele will thank me for, or at least my followers or whoever the fuck will thank me for it, is
Come on.
balance. Right?
Yes.
Somebody
Yeah.
please thank me. It's balance, right? It's understanding
Mm.
that some things that social media tell you you're not allowed to do, like drinking alcohol, or as you said, we're humans too, right? Would you agree that creating balance is more important, especially because you tell me who you deal with, right? You deal with professionals. I'm not sure what your main forte is, but do they deal with
Yeah,
balance as
so
well?
we primarily work with primarily women, but we work with men and women over 30. Generally, they're quite career driven or they've got family responsibilities. We don't really work with many young lads, that are in uni trying to go Ibiza. So we're mainly men and women over 30 and we prioritize in body transformation. So getting awesome physiques.
Yeah, it's similar to myself as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's not just because we hate on, teens or anything like that. It's because their why is a lot different that doesn't really resonate with what we're trying to achieve. Like I would say
Yeah.
my why within coaching is to help people achieve something they never thought they would before, which is, walking up a flight of stairs without being out of breath.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually put this in my story yesterday. The reason I work with who I do, men and women over 30, is because I grew up watching my mum go through so many fad diets like Slimming World, Weight Watchers, and
Mm,
like desperately wanting it to change, but getting caught up in slick marketing. Weight Watchers saying you can do this and go, oh, wow, amazing. Like I feel confident I'm going to do it. And then all of a sudden, rebounded back to square one because it's just not sustainable route. So I thought,
mm.
when I first hand saw those closest to me fall into slick marketing techniques and not getting the real help they fucking truly need, I thought I've got to provide these people like my mom the right solution to transform. So now when I see her every day with a spring in her step, got a transformation, can keep it forever.
You
She knows
coached her, bro?
how. Yeah, I coach her person. She's still in our program. She's coached by my female head coach, Ellie, because
Yeah.
she listens to me, but she don't always listen to me. Like if I say, Mom, fucking hell, really? You gonna do it?" She go, yeah, it's only you. I can get away with it. So now I've put her with
Yeah.
my coach, Ellie. So she's got a bit more pressure because it's not me that's coaching her. So I coached my mom for, years. And now she'll always be coached by us, just because it's your mom, right? So
Yeah.
she's now coached with Ellie, but that's why I started in over 30, because I always saw that's where they got caught up in slick marketing. Because I feel like young lads, they watch a lot of the right things, like me and you or other people that are giving good information. And I feel like
Mhm.
they have less emotion attached to it as well. So they can think a lot more logically. So they can look at something and go, logistically, does that work? But I think as soon as you get to over 30 and your why becomes stronger and you've got family and the reason you need to transform is really powerful and strong. It's like the emotion comes into it a lot. And when someone sells you a quick fix and a quick dream, it's like, this thing means so much to me. I just need to do that. So I think trying to give the message of you can do that. It's not going to work. Here's a better solution for you is really passionate for me because of that.
I think one thing that a lot of people need to understand is like a lot of people will be, they wouldn't admit to it, but I think men buy with hesitation and females buy with emotion.
Hmm.
So when it comes to a female being offered like a quick fix to their program or to start to their routine, whether it be achieve, toned abs for summer,
Yeah. Yeah.
like a female, when they're sold like a goal, that's why like females always say, men ain't shit. It's because they're sold on the relationship, right?
Yeah.
Men
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
good at lying, right? That's
Of
what we
course,
are.
yeah,
We're
yeah, yeah. Well, it's
liars.
like men want status and women want stability. So
Yeah,
if men get in shape, they've got status. If women get in shape, they got the stability of a man wanting them so they can be stable and they can feel safe.
yeah.
So going back like right to our hunter gatherer days, like right at the beginning, we are programmed in a certain way. Men want status, women want security, and it's always I find one of those two reasons are the deep cause as to why a lot of people transform.
See, the majority of my clientele would be males. I know you mentioned yours would be females, and mine would be males. And one thing that I see with a lot of people that are coming to the calls, right, for the consultation calls and stuff like that, and they have a type of mindset where, as I said, men want status, right? And status in layman terms isn't asking another male for help, right? It's like it's
Yeah, of
not
course.
it's not asking another male, can you help me? I'm out of shape. It's like for us as a man, it's like even me when I heard my first coach, I was a young guy at the time, but I was like, I'm still a young guy, but anyway, um, like even asking another male for help, I felt like less of a man. But when
Yeah, of
I've been
course.
through my own journey and actually understood, it's like, well, we grew up with coaches because football, right? So we had a coach since the age of
100%.
like 5, 6, right? And a lot of men are so scared of the idea of just getting, outsourced help. And I think
Yeah.
would you agree?
I completely agree. But then again, I think it comes down to the question, what's the alternative? Like when I
Mm,
first raised my hand and asked for help from a coach, hardest thing I done to message someone to go, dude, I need some help. It's like, fuck, I almost like kind of crawled up and died inside. I should be able to fucking, I'm a man. I should get up and just get that shit done. But again, it's not reality. And my alternative was either I ask for help and I become the best version of me, or I don't ask for help and I stay stuck forever. Which one is harder? Like it always comes back to what is the alternative? Do you stay how you are or do you bite the fucking bullet? Like you just have to choose one, and it's not a fair choice. It's a choice you
yeah.
have to fucking make, and that's life, right? So sometimes, it just always reverts back to what's the alternative.
I think that's amazing. I think we've covered a lot to be fair on this, and I hope a lot of people have took some value out of it. If somebody wants to find you on social media, even have a chat about you being their next transformation coach, where would they find you?
So we're on Instagram at Reece Hallard, RECEHALLARD. And we've just had Troy on our podcast as well. If you want to listen to myself and Troy speak in a slightly different light, more about Troy's journey, his story as well, on the Smart Body and Performance podcast, which will be out very soon as well. So they're probably the two best places.
For sure. And I will leave a link in the description because I know that for a fact. But like with the Irish and the UK accents, it's like everybody's like, wait, hold up. What did he just say? Did he just say Reece Hallard or what the fuck did he just say?
Google Translate.
So I'll just leave a link in the description for everyone. But with that being said, really thank you, Reece, for coming on and spending your time. You're a very busy guy. So I appreciate it.
No, dude, thank you for the invite. I really enjoyed it.
Bye bye, guys. See you in the next one.